Afternoon, everyone. Happy Super Bowl.
Still morning.
Hey?
Still morning.
It's always morning in Ryan Leslie's life. I think we've already announced it, right?
Yes.
I'm sure nothing's been on social media. So we've acquired Tyler Toffoli today in exchange for a 2022 first-round pick that has some conditions attached to it, a 2023 fifth-round pick, unsigned prospect Emil Heineman, and Tyler Pitlick. So first off, want to thank Tyler Pitlick. It's, you know, Tyler's a good man. He's a good player. It didn't go well for him here, and there was some injuries. He got injured right in really the first game of training, or the first shift of the preseason. But he's a good man. He's a good player, and we wish him all the best. It's exciting. We're excited to bring in Tyler. It's a Stanley Cup winner. To me, he's a top six forward in this league. He's a proven scorer in this league. He can touch every part of the game: 5-on-5 power play, penalty kill, and with the pedigree that he has, I think he's gonna be a great addition to our team. So it's a good day today.
How did Daryl's relationship with Tyler fit into this trade?
How did Daryl's relationship with him?
Yeah.
Well, Daryl's had him, right? So he knows him. I think it's always, there's a benefit. Two things I would say to that, Kristen. We tried to get out in front of it, you know, and for a lot of reasons, most notably, if you look back at deadlines, you know, there's a transition going to a new place. And so giving Tyler specifically more time to adjust and integrate into our group, I think is important. But it makes it more seamless when you know the coach and the coach knows you. You know, there's not going to be a getting to know you phase. It's going to be let's get going right away. So certainly Daryl's knowledge of the player was a factor in the sense that you knew it was, you know, and as much as Daryl knows him, it's been a while ago. Kirk had him last year when Kirk was in Montreal, and then, you know, he's familiar with a number of our players. So I think the transition is going to be smooth.
Brad, when a trade gets made this far before the deadline, it's not like this is our third or fourth pick and we got down to this point. What put Tyler at the top of your list?
Yeah, I mean, we like him a lot. We've liked him for a long time. He's been a real productive player in the league. You know, he's still a young man. He's right in the prime of his career. You know, I know you guys have heard me talk about this before, but, you know, the attraction with him having term left on his contract, you have to give to get in this league. I mean, we give up some, you know, you hate parting with draft assets, high draft assets. Emil's a good player. We really like Emil. We went and got him last year. So I think what we gave to get the player shows you that, you know, we think it's a good fit and we think he's a real good player.
Brad, you've always said that you'll take your cues from your team. I think it's safe to say this is the biggest in-season trade you've made as the GM here. What does that say about what you've seen from your team this season?
Yeah, you're right, Derek. You know, we've got a long ways to go yet. But you do take your cues from the team, and, you know, the players have done their job. It was time for me to do mine. And part of that is giving them some help. I think if you ask any player, they like their team, and when you can give them some help, I think that's well received. But certainly the way they've been playing and the way we've been playing, I felt it was time to give them some help.
As far as the timing goes, how important is it to get ahead of it instead of getting into the craziness of trade deadline?
I mean, like I said, I've never been a huge trade deadline guy, right? A lot of it, you know, mostly on the rental market. But you know, Berkey and I used to talk. It's the equivalent of 5 lane. It's like rush hour traffic. It's 5 lanes merging into one. The closer you get to it, so if you can get out in front of it, that's a preference of mine. Now it's got to make sense. There's pros and cons, right? In today's world where you look around the league and everybody's at the cap. So where you see it now, I think years ago, there was more people get out in front of it. With caps, everybody's at the cap, so the longer you wait, the more you accrue. So that's a piece of it. But you know, we felt, you know, this is a player we certainly targeted. The deal came together, and we got it done.
Brad, Tyler's had some really successful seasons, offensively speaking, and I know that, you know, with this team, goal scoring hasn't been an issue right now. What's the expectation for him? Or is there one? It's hard to, you know, expect maybe a player to have.
Well, I expect him to come in and be a good player. I mean, that's what he's been his whole career. The goal scoring gets talked a lot, and he's one of those guys that he just has that gift, right? Some people need 4, 5, 6 whacks. He usually needs 1. But what doesn't get talked enough about Kristen is his all-round game. He's one of those guys. To me, he's a top 6 forward in the league. He's on the teams he's played on. He's been a top penalty killer. He plays both wings. Plays the power play. You know, touches both sides of special teams. You know, you look at the data on him too when you dig into it. You know, the ability to drive play. Shot volume and also shot suppression is strong. I mean, so yes, he's made his living because he can shoot it in the net, but he does a lot more, and so that's what excites me. So I expect him to come in to be a real good player. He's excited. He's excited about where our team's at, and you know that we got a lot of work ahead of us, but I think he's excited to get into a playoff. You know, he's excited to get into a playoff race.
Can you talk more about that conversation you had with Tyler after the deal was announced?
Well, yeah, it was good. I mean, I've been chasing Tyler Toffoli going back to my days in Phoenix to his draft year. I remember interviewing him. You know, we had dinner in his draft year back in Phoenix, and you know, it was quick. You know, the life part takes over. Like he's spinning a little bit. His phone's buzzing. You know, he's got a wife and a family that, you know, you gotta kind of figure all that out. He's going to be, you know, on a plane tonight, and he'll get in here tonight. So, you know, we caught up quick. Told him we're excited to have him. We'll see you here tonight.
Do you anticipate, just with the border rule, or not the border, I guess, but do you anticipate him to be in the lineup for Wednesday's game?
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. But this just happened, so you know that's Daryl's call. He'll be here tonight, and you know, he's in Montreal. They were at home, so he doesn't have to cross any borders. And you know, they played back to back, I think, this weekend. We'll talk about that later on today, but we'll get him here and go from there.
Brad, how much do you like the fact that you're able to add like this and nothing from kind of your regular roster here the last couple of months goes out?
Well, I think that's a big part of it, Pat, is when you know, we're trying to add to our team, right? So, you know, the challenge. So the challenge with this deal at this time, a month ahead of the deadline, is again, you know, you wait, you accrue more space. You know, there was some cap flex that you had to kind of go through here, but we felt we wanted to get the deal. You know, we didn't want him going anywhere else. So yeah. Getting him here now is important, and nobody walking out the door is, you know, like I said, when I say nobody, Tyler, we like Tyler. It's just been a rough go for him. So adding without subtracting was important.
Brad, can I just jump on Derek's point about, what you wanted to add to your team, what it meant, where your team is right now? Like, it's important probably for you to not disrupt the chemistry balance, and Tyler already has built-in chemistry with so many guys. Is that a part of what you are anticipating with him?
Yeah, I mean, chemistry is important at the end of the day too. It is important. Getting good players is more important. I think you get good players, they'll find chemistry. But you got to be careful too. Like, people say played with Sean Monahan. Well, they were a lot younger back then, right? So I think, to me, it's fit. Where's the role? Where's the fit? You don't have people sort of stacked on top of each other. I think it gives us options. But, yeah, you're conscious about not disrupting things, but at the end of the day, get the good players and they'll figure it out.
Okay, we gotta wrap up. Sorry, guys. Daryl's just on his way now.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, guys.
I was gonna say, 10 times 10 sounds like a contract extension to announce.
Well, closest I came to winning it was they gave me a Green Bay Packers toque when I left.
Turns out that 4-point line was pretty good.
Well,
though.
they rubbed it in because I said that's my team, so they found a Green Bay Packers too good.
Daryl, what can you tell us about Tyler Toffoli?
I haven't coached him for 5 or 6 years, so I can tell you when I did coach him. But he's a winner, 2-position player, 200 foot, scores goals, kills penalties, playing the power play, is a good player.
Thinking about the additions that Brad has made going back to the offseason, Trevor Lewis, Brad Richardson, and now Tyler Toffoli, guys who have won Stanley Cups, been there and done that. How important is it to add those guys to your group when
I
you're
think
trying to take that next step?
They're still capable players. It's very important. Experience is one thing, winning experience is a total different one. Totally different, so. But going back to Tyler, I think you can't overlook the fact that he knows this division, which I think is important, and that he's played with Markey, Tanny, Vancouver, so the connection is just as much with them as it is with the guys from LA, I would say.
I can appreciate it takes time to figure out where he would fit into the lineup.
So then you'll appreciate that I don't know where he fits in.
Coming from a new team, or coming from a team like Montreal, where things haven't been going great this year, what's the expectation for Tyler? And is it just finding his chemistry with players organically?
We'll
or
see.
what
I
do you
haven't talked to
foresee?
him yet. We'll see. I mean, I don't know. Other than that, I'm not even, as I said, he's a versatile guy. He plays both wings, so that means he's played with a lot of different players in his career. So we'll just see.
Daryl, Brad's always said that he takes his cues from the group as far as what he does and doesn't do as far as trades. What can it do for a team when the general manager goes out and makes this type of deal and clearly shows faith in the team?
Well, they make deals when you're winning, and they make deals when you're losing. I mean, there's a deadline, you make deals. I'm under the strong belief that the sooner you can make them, the better, because you bring them in later and it's 40 days before the end of the season. A lot of times it never clicks. I think the most important thing about a guy like that is from an organization standpoint, not from Brad's standpoint. Organization standpoint would be you have a player with term. It's way more important, right?
Brad said he'll be here tonight. Do you anticipate him getting the
I
lineup
just said
tomorrow?
I haven't talked to him yet. I was on the ice.
Daryl, what sticks out memory-wise about what he meant to your team in LA in that one cup run that he was a part of?
Well, he'd been with us, he was drafted by the Kings, came through the development part of it, which is something that we really have to take as a benchmark in terms of developing players. He came through the American League and paid his dues and was a good player there. We'd bring him up and play him a little bit, but a lot of it was to watch and learn from good players. So that means you have the right guys up top at that time, and then integrate them into the process of what it takes to be a champion. And he was a really good student about it. The year before we won the cup, he came up and played games, played some playoff games that year. Then the next year he was it was a big line going. The 70s line was a big line to win a championship, and he was a big part of killing penalties. He was a big part of that team was still. I don't know if anybody will ever touch it, the 3-on-3 format. Like, he was a big part of that. I say a lot, it's like, I'm not into guys who take penalties and can't play 200 feet, and those guys are, it's not because I'm into it, that's what winning teams do. Tyler's a guy who doesn't take penalties and plays the right way.
Trevor,
Really productive in a couple of long playoff runs, even going back to the last one. What allows players to be at their best at that time of year?
You have to be able to handle pressure, and you have to be able to handle the physical element. You have to be able to recover because you play a lot of games in a short period of time. You got to be able to withstand some pain in terms of perhaps playing hurt, and you have to be. You don't have long playoff runs without playing well on the road, which means you're not always against you're on the ice against good players a lot. If you're going to be in a long playoff run, because that means the teams are winning. So top players are performing at a high level.
Daryl, when Trevor Lewis was just describing some of the big goals he witnessed as his teammate, has that always been part of his character? Is just that ability to score the goals that are needed when you're going through runs like that?
Yeah, I don't really remember that part of it as much. I just remember him being a really good player for us. I'm not into to the who scores all the goals guy. I meant to the guy who, the reason that you got that far. He was a big part of that.
Is it significant as a coach to be able to integrate him now as opposed to March, like any guys?
Yeah, I think that anytime you have an opportunity to get players, you know, the deadline is the made for the theater stuff, right? And how many of them actually work out? They work out if you win a championship, or if you go to the conference finals, or if you're in the otherwise you can say they don't. And especially the guys that are classed as rentals, because there's a price to pay, and if you don't have term, it doesn't look that good in the end unless you win. So get them earlier. As you say, integration is really important. It's that 40-day window or whatever it is between the end of the season and the deadline. A lot of times does not allow that player. They're people too. They have families. There's lots going on in their lives. 40 days, a lot of times is not enough.
Can I ask one question about Jacob Markstrom? First start of the week? What made his week so productive and special for this group?
We went 3-0 or 4-0 or whatever he started. I think, other than the game in Dallas that Vladdy came in and won, he's been really solid.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thanks.
When you do get an award like that or a recognition like that, I mean, what does it mean for you and I guess what did you feel about your week in general?
I mean, I feel like it's more of a, when the goalie gets it, it's a little bit more of a team, and, our shows our defensive play and how we play in, in our D zone and D zone coverage and, helping me out. So it's more of a team award, if you can call it that. So it's fun, obviously, to get the recognition, but, it's been a great week for us, and we're going to keep building.
You talked after shutout at home, I'm trying to remember. Anyway, you talked right after about being more consistent because you'd had the game in St. Louis in between a couple shutouts. Do you feel like you've made progress in that part?
I don't know. I feel like I'm getting better. So, that's a good thing. I got to keep building and keep working and practice and, chip away on the small stuff, the details and all that, and just trying to stay focused and take it, game by game.
Jacob, you mentioned it's been a good week for your group. And now with the news of Tyler coming here, what is it, you know him, you know what to expect. What does it
Yeah.
do for that room to know that this guy's on his way?
Oh, it's good. I mean, I think everybody's fired up. You know, everybody knows, you know, what kind of player he is, and you know, he's gonna, you know, he's a goal scorer everywhere he goes, and he's, you know, I'm happy because he usually always scores on me, and has been doing it his whole career. So I'm happy. You know, I got him to Vancouver. I was happy then, and then, you know, he left to Montreal, and he, you know, last year he scored some goals. This year I think he scored 2. So he always seems to find a way. So I'm happy he's, you know, wearing the C, the Flames. So that's good. And you know, in the room too, he's a great guy. A little quiet, but you know, really good guy, and you know, he wants to win, and you know, he's excited to come here, and obviously familiar with Lucic and, you know, Tanny and myself and a few other guys. So I feel he's gonna fit right in.
What is it maybe about him that we don't know that you could share with us about what you're getting?
I don't know what I can share, but no, but you know, a great person, great guy, and I think I don't know if you guys know that he got a little puppy, a little dog. Maybe that guy, you didn't know that? I don't know.
Jake, what is that, when you mentioned all the guys that he's familiar with and played with, you know, former teammates, how beneficial is familiarity when you're getting, you know, into a new team and a new situation, you know, to help kind of expedite the process of settling in?
Yeah, it goes quicker for sure. You know, speaking from my own experience coming here, and you know, I had you know, Lindy and Backlund and Ras and Shillington, some Swedes I met before, and then obviously, you know, Tanny came in, so you get a little bit more comfortable quicker, and you know, things you're uncertain with, either it's, you know, in the room or in the city. It's nice to you know, ask. You can ask anything. It's not like you kind of walking around and, you know, you wonder things and you don't really want to ask because you're new. You don't really know anyone, so he's gonna fit right in, I think.
Daryl said that Toffoli's two-way play is underrated, but it's really responsible defensively, and your team, or you just won a big defensive award. What's Tyler's play like away from the puck that we don't maybe appreciate more?
I mean, I feel like me as a goalie, you know, he kills plays, and he's, you know, he scores shorthanded goals. People look at it that way, but you know, he blocks shots, and he's in the right position, and you know, the 5-on-5 game too, he you know, he takes his defensive responsibilities, and then he goes on the attack and try to create offense. But you know, me as a goalie, I always like having him on the ice because I know he's gonna do the right thing and, you know, help out the defense first and let the offense come later.
What makes him such a prolific scorer?
I don't know. He's in the right spot at the right time, and you know, he obviously got great hands and you know, a great shot and very accurate and hard, and yeah, good hands. But he's, you know, he's one of those guys. He's just always there when the puck drops, you know, in front of him, and you know, empty net in a scrum, it always finds a way to his stick. So you know, he just got that.
Going back to the offseason when Brad brought in 2 guys who had won Stanley Cups, and Trevor Lewis and Brad Richardson, and now brings in another former Stanley Cup champion in Tyler Toffoli. But when your team trying to take that next step, how important is it to have those guys who have been there and done that?
I think it's big. I mean, they, like you said, we know they went through it all. They know what it takes, and they know what it, you know, took from them, and you know, they have different roles on that team on this team than they have on that team. But you know, they know what it takes and how important it is to have the whole group, you know, have a tight group, and that everybody sticks together and, you know, not venture off and do their own thing. So I think we got something good going, but we got to keep pushing, and, you know, big game tomorrow.
Just to get back to your week quick, how do you approach the challenges? Like, we don't see goalies play back-to-back a ton. You've done it at least twice or maybe 3 times this year. How do you kind of approach that?
Same, pretty much. You know, obviously, you know, some games is more shots than others, but you know, the preparation and all that is just the same. It's, you know, you feel it a little bit more after the second game than you do after one game. That's for sure. But I mean, it's quick. We had a activation day and then a day off, 2 days now in between. So now, you know, everyone is back, and you know, I'm feeling really good about, you know, the body and ready to go again.
Is there something to be said about that second game being a little bit easier mentally because you're already in the game mode? I know some goaltenders have said that before.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you know when you win the first game, then it's you just want to keep the same thing. You don't want to overthink it. But if you lose the first game and you play in the second game, it's really you want to get it back right away. So it's it's a lot mental that playing in your head, and that's kind of what gets me going. If you win, you just want to keep it and don't overthink it. And if you lose, you want to get back. You want to get a win back right away.
I think Rasmus said that it didn't really feel like back-to-backs because it's both at home and he'd never played that scenario before. Do you feel that way as well? Is the routine a bit easier when you're not traveling and getting in at 3 a.m. to a different city?
Yeah. I mean, it's also nice. You get in late, then you fall asleep right away. But instead of coming home at home and then early and right after a game, it's sometimes not so easy to fall asleep right away. But it's been going good so far, and I think that's the biggest difference is the sleep and the rest. Thanks, guys.
Congratulations.
Reunited, and it feels so good. I think it may have been a shot of you on a roller coaster with Toffoli. What does this mean to you and the group?
No, I think mainly it's obviously a great addition to the team. He's a great player. Obviously, he was a big part of Montreal's success last year, especially in the playoffs. Good friend of mine, so it's obviously it's nice when you know the guy coming in, and I was actually with him last weekend in All-Star break, so it's nice that well actually I had no idea I was gonna see him this soon, but it's nice I'm gonna see him tonight or tomorrow, but like I said, it's just a good addition, and happy to have him on our side.
There's something to be said about that built-in chemistry. Do you agree with that? In terms of any trade's really difficult, but
yeah, for sure. Like you just said, trades are difficult, but a lot of guys know Tyler. Me, Brad, and Lewis played with him with the Kings, and the guys that played with him in Vancouver, and Monty played with him in junior. So there's a lot of familiarity with him already before he's even came in here, and obviously Daryl had him as a player in LA as well. So there's already a chemistry there. There's already familiarity there. So I think he'll fit right in.
Sean, I believe you guys are roommates in Ottawa. Is that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you? Well, obviously you can't tell us many stories about those days. But what was he like as a young guy growing up, and what is how's your relationship kind of?
Yeah, I mean, he was a little bit older than me, and someone I looked up to when I was playing junior with him. And I mean, he's a great player, and I mean, really, really happy to have him here now.
Brad has always said that he's going to take his cues from the team as far as making in-season trades. In your 9 seasons, I think it's safe to say this is the biggest deal he's made in season. What message does that send to your team?
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously exciting. I think, as a team right now, we're in a good spot, and I think we're trying to get better every day. So, I mean, when you add a player like Toff to our team, it gives you confidence, and I mean, now the work's ahead of us.
Just to kind of follow up on that same point, can you describe what it's like in the room as the news kind of hits today?
Yeah, just a lot of excitement. It's just, there's a lot of, I guess, confidence and trust from management to make the next step for the team to move in the right direction. Like Monty just said, we're in a good spot right now because of how we played in the first 45 games. And what's nice too is, we didn't make this trade with 15, 20 games left. We've made this trade with, what do we got, 37 games. So there's a lot of season to be played, and we got a lot of games coming up in not a lot of days moving forward. So yeah, I think it's everyone's smiling, everyone's happy about it, and now it's just about keeping it going in the right direction.
Lucic, a guy who was once a young player on a team that went on to win a Stanley Cup, What does it mean to add guys like Brad Richardson and Trevor Lewis and Tyler Toffoli when you're trying to take that next step as a team?
Yeah, I think it's huge because, guys like them, they've been there and, and they've done it. And, when you add guys who have had experience and who have won Stanley Cups, and you can even add, Coleman to it, you go from last year where I was the only guy that won a Stanley Cup to this year we add 4 Stanley Cup champions, to the roster. You're just adding experience and guys that know how to play the right way, when push comes to shove. And I think that's what all those guys add, and it's really important to any team. And I think it's been huge to our success this year.
Sean, what would you say makes Tyler so effective offensively?
Yeah, Toff's really smart. I think he goes to the right areas, and he knows how to score. He scores a lot. He scores big goals, and yeah, he's a smart player, easy to play with, and great player.
Was it wild for you? Like you said, he's a couple of years older than you, and then he leaves Ottawa, and a couple of years later he's winning a Stanley Cup. Like, was it wild to see that kind of ascent as a guy who knew him?
Yeah, it was crazy. A lot of people would always say that he wouldn't be able to play in the NHL, and he's gone on and had a great career. Obviously won a cup. He's put up big numbers, and he helps teams win.
What can you tell us about him as a guy or as a person?
Great guy, great person, likes to have fun, always smiling, likes to be a part of the group. So yeah, like I said, he'll just fit right in.
Is he a guy who screams on roller coasters or more play?
No, he's not much of a screamer, but that was actually the, what was that one? The Cars one in California in Disneyland there. That's the picture that was. Yeah.
Did you have kids at the time? Were you on?
Yes.
Were they on it too, or?
Actually, Valentin and Nicolina were on the other car, but me and Ty wanted to go together because we wanted to be silly. So that's what it was.
Can you tell us about his dog? Markstrom mentioned.
He's got a lot of posts with his dog. Dodger is special to him and his wife, Kat. So she's a little thing, and I've gotten to know her really well as well.
All right. Have a new roommate, Luch?
Maybe. He's got a room if he wants to join in.
Okay, thanks, guys.
All right, thanks, guys.
We're going to do a